Hey, John Davies here. Hope you're doing fine. So, I've been asked quite a bit actually about how to find the best singing teacher in Los Angeles. It seems a little strange that someone asks a singing teacher in Los Angeles that actual question until you put it in context. When a parent, for example, calls and I tell them that I don't teach kids as young as their kid, they'll then ask how do they find the best teacher? That makes perfect sense to me. Anyway, it is a really interesting question because in reality, there probably isn't an answer to that question. It's a little like asking, who's the best musician when you're comparing guys who play the piano, the trombone, and a guitar? That there can't be a person in the group who's the best because you are in reality comparing apples with bananas. It's never going to work. But probably a better question to ask is, who's the best singing teacher for me? Then you can start to narrow your search down by factors that are important to you. And most probably, this is Los Angeles, folks, most probably the most important factor is going to be price. And that's probably going to be followed by location. Sorry to say this, but those factors aren't going to give you the best anything other than the cheapest and the closest, unless you're extremely lucky. And it's fairly unlikely that the cheapest of anything is the best. Uh, but a bit more about location can help you, actually. When you're looking for your prospective teacher, ask yourself, how much money has the teacher invested in their workplace? Now, that's going to be a good indicator because someone who outlays a lot of money for their studio is most likely to have a more professional approach. Simple as that. And you compare that person to someone who has a small keyboard or an out of tune piano in their living room. And when you walk in, there's food smells and pet fur on the floor. Nope, not for my 150 bucks. Sorry. There's no comparison. The person, like it's a guy or a lady given singing lessons who spends a lot of money on their premises, needs to give very good service in order to keep those premises. Otherwise, they're going to be out of business fast. But here's the trick. The best factors to consider when you're looking for your teacher are whether or not they've the teacher themselves has had a long performing career and whether they've done a lot of professional recording. If they haven't done recording and concerts, then they probably didn't make the grade at all. Sure, they can be valued soloists in their local church choir, but that's fairly insignificant when compared with someone who's done concerts all over the world, all over America. There's no comparison. Okay, the best performer isn't always going to be the best singing teacher, but at least you know they can do what you want to be able to do. It only makes sense that a high-level performer has a huge edge when it comes to their personal knowledge base. If they don't have that knowledge base, then once again, they wouldn't have made the grade. Again, they shouldn't be giving lessons. So already, we've got a couple of great factors which should help make your decision. Can the person perform? Are they good enough to make recordings? And if you can check both of those boxes, then you're off to a good start. So what about teaching? This is where it gets tricky. Some of the best singers ever simply admit that they have no idea when to start when it comes to training others. My own mentor years ago was one of these very people, an amazing singer of global acclaim, who told me she didn't have a clue where to start if when it came to helping anybody learn to sing. That said, she gave great advice. Probably the best way to go when you're looking for the best singing teacher in Los Angeles is to find someone we've already described who also has first-class conservatory or academy qualifications. That definitely gives them a super advantage because proper academy qualifications are extremely difficult to get, and people who have them have gone through extremely tough training to be able to get their diplomas. And when I say a proper conservatory, I'm talking about the world's top music schools such as Paris Conservatoire the Royal Schools of Music, the Tchaikovsky Conservatory in Moscow. These are very tough schools, and it's all about the highest standards in the world. People who've gotten their diplomas in those kinds of schools have a very large knowledge base, not only about their instrument, and yes, please include voice in that, but also in music theory and history, and something which is hugely important, performance procedure. Yes, there are some very good schools, but many of them are expensive, and candidates are virtually guaranteed of a pass provided they pay their fees. Now, in the great schools, the costs are really minimal, but it's very, very easy to fail. Not a lot of people do actually get through. So, a performer, a recording artist, an academy trained person is starting to sound like a good fit. And another factor is whether your prospective teacher has a lot of experience in the genre you work in. That's important. So, what about a prospective teacher's past pupils? Well, that's another tricky one. If you ask me, I'm going to say there's two parts to the answer. First, I got all my brownie points myself, and I don't have to rely on name dropping to get any more, and I don't need any more. And second, I consider that anybody I work with has 100% right to confidentiality, the same as going to the doctor. If you're a famous patient, you don't want a doctor telling the world that he's treating you for a urinary tract infection so he can get more famous patients. That is so wrong in so many ways. Actually, that's a big fail. But some teachers don't see it that way. They've made no records and done no performances of note. So the best thing they've got is a few fancy names under their belt, even if they only gave them 2 singing lessons. Then there's the teachers who are great marketers. They feature pictures of famous singers on their websites. They don't actually say they trained them, but people see the pics and think, oh, wow, he trained so-and-so. He's got to be the best. Great marketing, but very sneaky. I'd even say slick, actually. That person is definitely not the best singing teacher in Los Angeles. And now a word about price. Seriously, the best guy is not going to be the cheapest. It's that simple. To help you out though, singing lessons in Los Angeles cost you around $60 an hour. Beware of that, folks. Through to about $500 an hour, and beware of that, folks, yet again. Ironically, the best guy is very unlikely to be at the expensive end because he's more likely to be interested in helping you as opposed to helping himself in his bank account. And last but definitely not least, what about Yelp? Will Yelp help you decide? Nope. Sorry, not at all. I used to think they were good until I found out that humans at the company do not read the reviews. They are read by robot algorithms. So people post fake reviews, good or bad, and they can use fake names, fake email accounts, just as long as they fool the robots. Yelp knows this happened and they allow it. And to my way of thinking, that is morally wrong. So I say no to Yelp. It's just wrong, and it's misleading as well. No, Yelp won't help you find the best singing teacher in Los Angeles, but they'll definitely lead you to the best teacher in Los Angeles who pays Yelp the biggest advertising budget. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps you a bit. Okay, enjoy your day now and enjoy your voice. Bye.